Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Today we are talking about the Steam Deck. I am super excited about it, and I hope you are too. And if not, I've got 15 reasons why the Steam Deck is going to be awesome. And I've even thrown in a 16 bonus one there at the end, so please wait till the end. And I really hope you enjoy this video. Let's get started with number one. This is going to be cheap comparatively. If we look at the prices up there, we have one for about $400, one for about $530, and one for $650. Now, a lot of people are thinking this doesn't look exactly all that cheap, and I totally feel you. But what I'm talking about is a total cost of ownership, which means how much is it going to cost in the long run compared to alternatives. Now, looking at this, it's going to be a lot cheaper, I think, than, say, Nintendo Switch, which for unit is going to be cheaper. However, if you're looking at the price of the games are significantly cheaper on Steam. And that is a huge deal, because if you can go and get hundreds more games and save a lot more money than you could on Nintendo, then is that not going to be pretty freaking awesome? Which also brings us to number two, backwards compatibility with future models. The great thing about this is when you go and buy a game on Steam, it's pretty much yours forever. You don't have to worry about, oh, I've got the new Steam or the new like Steam Deck, and now you have to go and buy all the games over again or something like you have to do with the Switch. Because we've all been there, right? Where we like buy one game on like Nintendo back on the Wii, and then they re-release it for the Switch, and we're buying the same game over and over and over again, which I still do. But if you can go and not have to re-buy those games, if this is yours forever, whether you play on the computer, whether you're playing on a Steam Deck, whether you're playing on a Steam Deck 2 or 3 or 4, and you never have to worry about re-buying the same games again, that's really awesome. Also, because of computer games, they get at scale. So as technology gets better, as computers get better, your games that you bought way back when, you can just upgrade you just change the resolution and have it look so much better than it was before. And you don't have to worry about them coming out with like an HD version or something like that as much. I mean, maybe you probably will if they want to redo the assets for like 8K graphics or something, but still, it's really awesome. And let's get to number three now. Flexibility for battery saving. Now, this is kind of a big deal in my opinion, because the battery, it's got a 2 to 8 hour battery life, which is a huge spread. Now, because of that, they're like, well, let's go ahead and make some options to limit it. For one thing, they're going to put in a hardware limiter to make it so it can only run at 30 frames per second or 60, depending on how you want to play it. If you do it at 60, it's going to drain the battery a lot faster. If you do it at 30, you get maybe an hour or two more battery life, which is really, really nice. Because maybe you're just sitting on the couch, you're going to be playing for 2 hours. Yeah, crank that puppy up. Or maybe you're on the plane, this is a 5-hour plane ride, and you're like, you know what, I want a little bit more battery life because I want this to go the whole flight. And that's going to be really important for me personally, because I'm flying all the time, and I want to make sure that my battery life lasts the entire flight. So that's a big option for me. Also, just the video options. You can go and change the resolution. You can change whether it's doing like HD shadows. You can do all this stuff, which is fantastic for battery saving. All right, let's get to number four, shall we? Comfort of playing on a couch or bed. Now, I'm a person who flies most of the time, and so I'm playing most of my games on the plane. I don't really play so much on the couch or in bed, but I know a lot of people do. A lot of people want to be just sitting around the couch, hanging out with their family and playing video games, and maybe they don't want to take over or hog the TV because maybe someone else is playing the Switch or something, or they're watching a TV show, but they still want to be hanging out with the family. This is an awesome option. Or if you just want to be able to sit in bed and maybe play some games right before you go to bed, which is also a really good option. Honestly, just having that flexibility is really, really cool, and I really appreciate that about this product. Let's go with number five. In-home streaming. Now, this is something that people aren't talking about very much, and for me, I think is really important thing to mention, because this kind of came out back in the days of Steam Machine, where you can, from another PC that you have somewhere else in your house, stream it to another Steam computer. which is really cool. I use it actually quite a bit at my own house, where I have a little Steam Link and I just stream it directly to my TV. I can play upstairs with the controller, and it works really quite well. Now, the Steam Deck, it's its own PC and it can run a lot of games. However, in the future, games are going to get better and better and better. And even if it can play 100% of the games now, doesn't mean it's going to play 100% of games in the future. Or it can play it at the highest resolution that you want it to. So as games get better and better, it kind of future-proofs it, because if you've got another PC in your house, you can still be on your couch or in your bed just chilling and stream everything to your Steam Deck. And because it's not having to do all the video processing itself, that means it's going to be saving on battery life. So you have a lot longer battery life just by streaming it over the Wi-Fi and just chilling in your bed or couch or wherever you want to be. And I think that's going to be really awesome. All right, so this brings us to number 6. Better than a gaming laptop. Now, a lot of people are probably going to debate me on this, and that's okay. But for me personally, with my flying around or being on a couch, gaming laptops just don't quite cut it. They're not as comfortable. On the plane, you just can't play with a laptop because you always have the person right in front of you who leans back their chair, and now your laptop is at a weird angle. It's just awkward. It's terrible. I would never want to do it. I do see people like on their computers sometimes on the planes. I've tried it, and it's just really not fun to deal with. Also, on your couch or your bed, it's just not comfortable because you can't just be at any angle. You can't just be like chilling or relaxing. No, you've got to be like sitting it on your laptop. And of course, those things get hot. So now it's like burning your legs sometimes, depending on the power and the heat distribution of the laptop. It's just not as good of an option, in my opinion. Some people have gaming laptops and they work fantastic. But for me, I don't think they're as good. All right, so let's get to number 7, shall we? It is a full desktop. Now, I think a lot of people hear that, but don't quite understand the gravity of how awesome that is, because it can do anything a desktop can. Whether you want to do like other programs or get like the upgrade the operating system, do all these things, it can do anything a desktop can, and that is huge. You don't have the limitations. Because a lot of these consoles, which are really nice and they do really well with what they do, they're always going to be limited because you can't do everything. Like for me, sometimes I'm like, I'd like to watch, say, Netflix on my Switch. But I can't until the Switch allows me to watch Netflix on my Switch. Where Steam decided, let's make the deck and let's make it completely open to whatever you want to do. And they're not going to limit it any way that I can see. So yeah, anything that a PC can do, this can do. Whether you want to do like Stadia or do anything, any web browser, anything on there, it is so open to so many great things that I think is really awesome and really something to think about when considering whether to get a Steam Deck or not. All right, let's go to number 8, shall we? Peripherals. Now, this is kind of a good thing, and I don't know how many people are going to use it. I think if you're using it in handheld mode, probably a lot of the peripherals you're not really going to use so much. But because you can put onto a dock, hook it up to a TV, hook it up to a monitor, hook it up to whatever, having the option to be able to use a mouse, a keyboard, or use anything, whether you want to have different headsets. It does have Bluetooth, which, come on, Nintendo, come on. Having Bluetooth is awesome. I got some nice Bluetooth headphones I use. They're noise cancellation on the plane. They're fantastic. And having to have that cable come out and connect to it with the Switch, it's not the worst thing ever in my life, but it's kind of annoying, and I really wish they would put that on there. So I'm really glad that you got Bluetooth on there. You've got like mouse keyboard support. You've got all sorts of controller supports. You've got support for just about everything. And if something isn't supported, it probably will be shortly, because they can just add a patch or do something like that. So it's going to be really awesome for anything you want to run, which also now goes back to being a full desktop of it can run everything, which is awesome. You want to hook up a printer to it, you can, It's awesome. All right, let's get over to number 9, shall we? You can unlock the resolution in the dock. Now, of course, when we're talking about the actual screen on the deck itself, it only does up to 800p, which isn't a super huge resolution. I understand why they did it, and I think it's a great choice, but it is limited to that resolution. However, if you hook up to a TV or up to a monitor, it can go up to 8K resolution. Now, you don't want to play any games at 8K because the hardware can't really handle it unless you're doing in-home streaming. Yeah. So what's nice about it is if you want to be able to watch videos in 4K or 8K, if you want to go and do in-home streaming up to like 4K, it can handle that sort of resolution, which is really, really nice. Where some other things, they kind of hard set the resolution in a certain place, and they really haven't done this. They've really opened it up, which is really cool, and I love that. I love the option. Now, just so we know, if we're doing something at 8K, it can only do it at 60 hertz. Where we're doing it at 4K, it can go to 120 hertz, or 120 frames per second, which is pretty nice. Now, I don't think you're going to be able to play very many games at 4K at 120 hertz on the Steam Deck running its normal like processor without doing like in-home streaming, unless you turn everything else down a lot. But it's capable of it, and that's awesome. All right, let's get to number 10, shall we? Forever updates. Now, the great thing about this is things can always be updated. We're talking about the operating system because, for one thing, it's running Linux, and they're always going to be updating that for a very long time. And, you know, if they decide to switch to a different version of Linux, you can always just format and reinstall and just keep on the updates. Steam is going to keep updating itself, and so you always have updates. It's always going to be getting better and better, and all the games can keep being updated as well. And sometimes you'll see that where they'll be like, oh, we're going to upgrade the graphics in this game, or we're going to change this or that. And you just don't have to worry about, oh, after the lifetime of this product, we'll never see another update again. It's going to keep going depending on the game, depending on what they're doing. But it is really nice knowing that it's not going to just be tossed aside. Because you remember the Steam Deck, it's basically just a PC running Steam. And as long as Steam is around and running on PCs, the Steam Deck is also going to be able to have that advantage of being upgraded at the same time because they're going to upgrade everything all at once. It's going to be fantastic. All right, let's get to number 11, which is the cloud saves. Now, we do have cloud saving on some other things, including the Nintendo Switch, which is pretty cool. However, you have to go and pay the monthly subscription to it. You have to have all those options. And the cloud saves work so well in Steam. It makes it really, really good. And they are making it so that you can pause a game on your deck, run over to your computer, and just pick up right where you left off. And that's pretty cool. I don't know if they're going to pull it off. They say they haven't got it working yet. So I'm not sure if it's going to be upgraded or working by the time it's launched, but I hope so. It sounds pretty cool. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, let's get to number 12 because we don't got a whole lot of time. The controller works with everything, which is actually something they really had to work on. The same thing with the Steam controller back in the day. They had to make a controller that would work with all of the different Steam games. Now, the thing is, a lot of Steam games, a lot of them have full 100% controller support, but that's not all of them. A lot of them were made for only a mouse and keyboard, so they had to get support for those games as well. Which is why, if you look at the Steam controller, it's got the 2 square touchpads on there, which is vital for the Steam Deck to work, which is something that like some of the other handheld PCs have come out with don't really have, and that is kind of problematic. So they really did a good job in trying to make sure that the Steam Deck is going to work with all the games. Now, that's of course going to be to varying degrees. Not all the games are going to work really well, and some games it's going to still be better with a mouse and keyboard, let's be honest. But the fact that you can play it if you want to is really cool. And I'm excited about it because there's a lot of games I want to get to that I just haven't yet, and I want to make sure that I can play all my games. So we're going to see what happens with that. Which brings us to the next one, which is the community. Now, the Steam community is really huge. I don't know how many millions of people are on there, but it's a lot. And what's nice is with the controller, you have the Steam community who are going and making different button layouts for every type of game. Now, a lot of people online are talking about like, oh yeah, the developers are gonna make their perfect like button layout for their game. And maybe some of them will, but most of them aren't. Let's be honest, there's thousands of games on Steam. A lot of them are really old and the developers really don't care. So having the Steam community that's gonna go and make button layouts for you, you can make your own button layouts if you want to. However, you can just go to the community and see what other people are using and check them out, try them out, maybe tweak the ones that are there, upload your own. Is going to make it so much easier to be able to play all these games without having to worry about whether the developers are going to be nice enough to develop a button layout for you. Also, with the community, you have all the different mods, which on the PC gaming side are huge. There are so many different mods people have done, and all the different things the community comes together with. It is really, really nice. Like people are awesome out there, to be honest. They do a lot of really cool things for free, and I really appreciate all their hard work. They are awesome people. All right, let's bring it on to number 14, upscaling. Now, people were really excited back in the day with all the rumors the Nintendo Switch is gonna be able to upscale, that you're gonna be able to, like, say, plug into a 4K TV, and it's gonna be able to upscale to like 4K graphics, and that didn't really ever happen. But upscaling is a technology, it is out there, and it is being used, and you're going to be able to take advantage of it with the Steam Deck. There's already a lot of people that are working on upscaling with Proton. So all the Proton games, you can upscale and get them to, you know, if you want to run at a slightly lower resolution for more frame rates, and then upscale it up to the 800p for the screen, you can, and have better frame rates and have it still look amazing. And that is really cool. Or you plug into a TV, you can upgrade to the 4K graphics and still have it have good performance through upscaling. This is really cool technology. Have you looked into it yet? I highly recommend you do. It's gonna be so awesome. And I'm really excited to see how the technology takes off. And the Steam Deck can take advantage of all of it because it's a PC, and PCs are awesome. All right, let's get to number 15. All right, this is a little bit for me. I've got a huge backlog, and I don't know how many of you people are like me as well, where on Steam you've got all these games from Humble Bundles or from other things, and you want to play them, but you're busy, you're traveling, you're doing this and that, and it's just so hard to get to them. I don't do a whole lot of gaming at home. I do most of my gaming out on the road while I'm flying around on planes and hotels. And I really want to get to all these great games I have on Steam, but I just haven't been able to yet. And that's why I'm really looking forward to the Steam Deck, to be able to get to all my Steam library and just start knocking out some of these games I really want to play. Now, I'm not going to get to all my games. I got like over 1,000, and I'm just not going to get to all of them. But it is nice knowing that I have access to them, and I can start playing these games that I really want to play that I just haven't gotten to yet. So that's going to be awesome. All right, let's get to our last one, numbers. Well, it's this bonus round. Other games and programs. All right, this is just awesome. A lot of people, I think, again, in their minds, oh, it's a Steam Deck, you only play Steam games. No, you can play all sorts of things. Now, yeah, you can put Windows on there. I wouldn't recommend it because I like Linux, and Linux is awesome. But it is very cool that you can go and run all the different like third-party games, or the games that aren't on Steam. Actually, a lot of the games on Steam are third-party. But what I mean is games that aren't on Steam, they will play just fine. And I have gone through and done a little bit of experimentation, and I was able to get like Battle.net working through Steam, and it worked beautifully. I was playing some StarCraft 2, and it ran perfect through Proton. Some things are going to have varying degrees of success, but it is really cool that you're going to be able to run anything you want on there because Valve is not locking you down to just their stuff. And that is so awesome of them. I really appreciate it. Those guys are just so cool, aren't they? I love it. Also, you can do any sort of things that you want to on there. If you want to learn like programming, there's all sorts of programming language tools that you can do, really like Java or C++ or whatever. You also have all the Office software. There's some free ones like LibreOffice, which are really cool, or OpenOffice. They kind of branch from the same source code at some point, but they're both really great. You also have all of the like streaming services like Netflix and Hulu and Disney Plus and everything else. And it is so awesome that you just have options for everything. Everything is just open to you, all these different programs. If you want to be able to use a Steam Deck for things that are not meant for the Steam Deck, if you want to do like video editing or recording, or you want to go and set it up for any other thing, you have those options, which is something you're not able to do with any other like console type device, because they limit you, because they're going to limit you. They only want to make you to do things that they know are going to work. And here they say, hey, just give it a try. Maybe it'll work, maybe it won't, but you have those options and it's going to be fantastic. So if you want to use this as like a work computer, you could. I could take this on the road and then set up and use as a desktop, hook up to the TV inside of the hotel and have full word processing on there, or Office or anything. It is such a cool thing, and I am super excited about it. I hope you are too. I hope maybe this has given you some different ideas, and maybe you're a little more interested in it, maybe not, I don't know. Let me know down in the comments. Let me know how you're thinking about it, if you've already decided to reserve one or not. I would love to hear from you. Thanks so much, guys. You guys have a fantastic day, and please like and subscribe. It really helps me out, and I would really appreciate it. Thanks so much. Take care and have an amazing day.